in my freezer and I realized that I had so much random stuff in there. Maybe you've experienced that where you've looked in your freezer and you're like, I don't even know what's in here. And then things go bad and you're disappointed when you clean it out and you're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea that this was in here. So I pulled it all out and I basically decided to figure out what I could make with what I had. And so tonight I only had to buy 3 ingredients from the store and I pretty much had everything else in my freezer. I'm gonna show you a little bit more. You can go to my Blink and Lio and go to shop meal plans. All the $5 meal plans are on there. If you enter the code LIVE, you get all of those $5 meal plans for $1 during this live. And if you have any other questions, let me know. So I found that I had a bag of split peas. This is one of those ingredients I buy a bunch of and just have in my fridge because I love making split pea soup. I know it's something you love or you hate, but it's a really easy freezer meal. This is a dry erase marker. This is a silicone reusable freezer bag. I am gonna write pea soup on it so I do not forget what is in here. I have done that before. And then there is a mystery dinner that ends up getting cooked that nobody knows what it is. So to avoid mystery dinners, we are going to write the name on here. This is not gonna smudge off. It needs to dry for a few minutes, but as it sits here, in just a few minutes, I can even rub it. I will show you, it's not gonna smudge off at all, and it'll come right off with soap and water, which is fantastic. I am gonna get started. So I printed off my recipe. This is my crock pot split pea soup. First thing that I'm gonna add in there is my peas. It takes 1 bag of peas. If I can open it, getting a little tough, there we go. Just pour that on in there. There we go. Always have a trash bag by you when you meal prep, makes things easier. Then instead of having to cut up carrots, I had some shredded carrots in my fridge. So I'm gonna use shredded carrots in the soup. This recipe calls for 1.5 cups of shredded carrots, which is about this much, so we're just gonna dump it in. Always feels so good to use up ingredients. Then chopped frozen onions, one of my favorite ingredients ever. If you go to shop meal plans, that's where you can get access to all the $5 meal plans. So then if you go on and click through to the site, anything that's $5, you can add the code LIVE and you'll get it for $1 tonight. Frozen onions are the best. You can buy them diced. I have this bag, it's already opened. I'm gonna use some more of these in this recipe too. We're using up what we have today so that we can prevent waste. So this calls for 1 medium yellow onion in this recipe. I'm honestly just gonna add this bag because I wanna use it up. And you know, when you're cooking, when you're meal prepping, when you're using food up, a little bit of this and a little bit of that is always a good thing to do. What is next? Let's use our garlic paste. I haven't used that in this recipe before. So I don't know how much garlic paste for 1 clove. Oh, it looks like 1 tablespoon for 1 fresh clove. So this recipe calls for 4 cloves of garlic, which means I'm gonna probably have to add a lot of this. So, oh my gosh, I can smell it, but I'm using it, right? Using it up. That's probably gonna be about 2 tablespoons. I would say that's pretty good. Got our garlic in there. So far we've got carrots, onion, garlic. This recipe calls for broth and water. I will not add that to my freezer meal portion. I will add that to the slow cooker when I'm actually making the recipe. I'm also going to add in this. This is a great way to bring flavor to soups. So this is actually a rind of Parmesan. I stick mine in the freezer. I always buy blocks of Parmesan. When the rind gets really low into the end, they're in the freezer. So when I make a soup, I can pop it in my soup and it just kind of brings in some Parmesan flavor. It's really, really good. Then we are adding in 1/2 of a teaspoon of Italian seasoning. That's way more than that. I probably added in a teaspoon. I'm also going to add in 1 teaspoon of salt. Each scoop is about 1/2 teaspoon, and I love this. This is super cute. It's my little like salt container, and it's got this cute little spoon, and I just love to shut it. It's like super cute. Normally I would add dried thyme to this recipe, but today I have some fresh. And so because anytime I end up having fresh herbs in the house, I just use those instead of the dried because I like fresh herbs better. So I'm gonna stick about a bunch of, like one little cluster of thyme in there, fresh thyme. You can also use dried thyme. Then we need to add in a ½ teaspoon of black pepper. This just goes to show you how fast and easy you can make dinner for the week without having to spend time cooking in the kitchen. This is what we do. We got a family of 6. Really helps. Okay, peas, ham steak, and our onion. Those are our last 2 ingredients. All right, let's use my most favorite viral TikTok contraption that actually works. I'm sure you already know what this is. If you don't, this is the Full Star Chopper. And this thing went absolutely viral on TikTok. And I'm usually really annoyed at viral things because I'm going, yeah, right. Somebody spent a lot of money to get a lot of people. Oh, I did add my onion already. So excited to use this too. Whatever, we'll use it on a future recipe. Thank you very much for helping me from making this onion soup, basically. So, no onion. Ham steak, last ingredient. Let's cut this up. No, it doesn't need more onion at all. That would be way too much onion. I just had a little bit of a mind blank there. I get distracted sometimes because I'm having fun talking and moving around things, and so then I end up forgetting. But I appreciate you letting me know because I full blown would have doubled that onion, and then my family would have been eating it, and I don't know, anyone would have enjoyed it. Too much onion in there. I'm just gonna dice up this ham steak. I used 16 ounces. I also had this in the freezer. This is why I actually decided to make pea soup. So when I am making food out of whatever I have at home, which is a great way to use up ingredients, prevent waste, and save money, I actually start with the protein always. And I go, what proteins do I have, or what vegetables do I have in bulk? Yeah. I actually got this, I think I had this cutting board from my mom growing up. I think that's where it's from. She'll let me know later if that's true or not. Right, here we go. All of this ham steak is going in. So once you go through all of those things in your freezer and you're pulling it all out, start with your protein. And if you don't know what you want to make based on the proteins that you have, just search 5-ingredient beef recipes or 5-ingredient chicken recipes. And most likely you'll be able to find ones with pretty standard ingredients, and you probably have most or all. You can just go ahead. See, look at that, pea soup, all done.